And we're back just like that. Ooh, 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 and I got a little light from my computer. Not ready for that just yet. Next one I do will involve the compute pew. Welcome back, guys. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. And we're going to evolve today. Empaths, here's what I want to say. If they violate, if and when they violate, remove your energy and continue to be great. Let's talk about it. Empaths, I just made a video about red flags and it meandered as they can. But what I want you to understand is that there's some good morsels in there. So when you're doing your little living of life, taking a walk or doing your dishes or whatever you do, go listen. There will definitely be some information in there for you. This one is for any empath that feels guilty about removing your energy, something I no longer do. I delightfully remove my energy. I know what a asset I am, and that if I love you and if I'm in your life, that I will bless you and you will bless me, and it can be just a beautiful blessing tree, a giving tree. Shout out to Shel Silverstein. So let me talk about that real quick. We all incarnate with things to do. We have offerings to give, and not all of our offerings are the same. I had a delightful conversation with a friend last night about her claim to fame. And what I mean by that is that she has a certain skill set and a life that no one else that I've ever known has lived. And I was encouraging her to get out and put it out and talk about it because she had something special and has something special to give. And it reminds me of Shel Silverstein, who is no longer with us, but he was a poet and he did know it, and he was a writer and an author, and he wrote things that literally have touched my life to this day and will live in perpetuity in the Library of Congress. He inspired me so much that when I wrote my first children's book, I specifically went through the extra steps to make sure that it was in the Library of Congress, because I thought of Shel Silverstein and how, even though it may not mean much to you in the moment, a work that you do can go on and on. Well, I want you empaths to think about your life as that work. You don't have to write a book or sing a song or make a YouTube video or TikTok, though all of us have access to that now. But what you do need to know is that there may be an experience that you have that causes someone else to grow that they would never have experienced themselves, and you do have an obligation to get that out. You do have a legacy to fulfill and to share. So shout out to Shel Silverstein, who left his work here, and you can go pick it up today and read The Giving Tree, Where the Sidewalk Ends. I think I'll go to school today, sit a little Donna Ann McKay. I have the measles and the lumps. That's a great one too, about not taking out the trash anyway and not wanting to go to school. Just the teacher in me loves the work that he did, but the teacher in me wants you to know that you have a lesson to teach too. Anyway, that's a message for someone here who's been maybe thinking, I have something to share, but is it worthwhile? Yeah, get it out there. It's super worthwhile. It'll be beneficial to more people than you know. You will find your tribe and you will continue to grow and grow, and they will have lessons for you and they will help you grow, and it will be the rainbow. The more you know. All right, I'm off my teacher soapbox. Back to this. If they violate, disembark and let them be great. Remove your energy and let them be great. You guys know that I am trigger finger happy to be like, bye Felicia. I have no patience anymore at this point in my life. Something about getting into my mid 30s and early 40s has just changed my mind about the shenanigans that I put up with from people that were not trying to do me right. And now that I literally have a fantastic blocking ability to get people out of my life and assess when they're on some real fuckery, I pass that on to you. I feel so passionately protective over my clients and the people that have gravitated into my life, because what I want from you is the energy to, what I want from you is for you to know how much you deserve to be treated right. Yeah, I don't want anything from you. I just want you to feel like you deserve to be treated right. What I want from you is a good letter, or maybe a comment below. That I do want, because I love to know how you did grow through those kind of dramatic things. Your energy is the greatest gift. And people that will take you for granted, and let me tell you, empath, if you're an empath, people have taken you for granted and they love to do it. They're like, this is hilarious. Who needs you? Can't tell you, I can tell you. I've had about three specific narcissists that really felt like I had leveled them up. They may not have even couched it in those terms in their head. So I'm not saying that they would be like, I attribute this to you and thank you. Narcissists are not like that. But you will feed into someone's life and you will help them to grow and you will be a pep talk and a cheerleader, which is what we are supposed to do. People that are good souls will take that and run with it and turn it into something magical, and they will say, hey, I attribute some of this to you. What I mean by that is they're not going to give you their success, but they'll be like, thank you. You really encouraged me. I help it. Narcissists are body snatchers. They'll take it and be like, I don't even know where that came from. It was just my idea. It was wonderful, wasn't it? So that's fine. That's fine. I can't be mad about that, but that's a message for someone here because that's not even part of my message today. So maybe someone's experiencing someone who's trying to spirit away your own creations and work and you're feeling a way about it. Girl, I know. But one of the things that I've noticed too is that the the narcissistic person or the toxic entitled person in your life will want to siphon all the energy off of you, and you are a good luck charm. When you're in someone's life, you bring blessings, you make things brighter, you make things happier. People are happy to see you. You raise the vibration of a place. When someone violates you, and if you checked out my last video regarding red flags, you've had the red flag like 1, 2, 3, this is no longer me, and you understand that you can't deal with them anymore. Get out expeditiously. And you'll say, but what happens? And I get this question all the time, but what about their karma? The removal of you is their karma. I can't say it enough. I can't say it in enough videos, and I can't say it in enough ways. But everyone needs to have it be palatable differently, so I will say it repeatedly. You being gone is the karma. It doesn't mean that it's the only karma. Yes, they'll have other things happen, right? I have karma readings. Maybe I'll do one today. There are other things that will happen that will get them to understand how it was not a good idea with you to play. But the removal of you is their karma because you're a good luck charm. They cannot generate anything. With the covert narc that I left several years ago, she had a extreme glow up. It's because I nurtured her. I poured into her and I loved her. I am a words of affirmation as my primary love language. So if I speak over someone that is close to me or that I value, I will breathe life into whatever it is that you need to do. That's one of my gifts. You need to know your gifts, empath, so that you're not haphazardly giving out magic to people that don't deserve it. There are people that I see that God will assign to me that they'll be like, breathe some life here because they're going to be amazing and they're going to be like a hot air balloon that takes off, and you need to be able to set them free. Narcissists also love to claim you as theirs and whatever. Any good teacher wants to see the student ascend past them. Does that make sense? Not everyone's built for this, and narcissists and toxic people certainly aren't. But what they will want to do is rob you of your good energy. And so I breathed life into that person, and she had an amazing glow up, and she siphoned my energy, and she body snatched, and she copied, and she did all that stuff, and she got to a cocky point that every toxic narcissist person will get to. It's a test. You know, I always say it's a test of the emergency empath systems. Well, it's a test of the narcissistic, toxic, low vibrational, demonic systems. Are you going to touch a chosen person? Are you going to touch God's beloved? You know, the Bible says, touch not my prophet and do my beloved no harm, or touch not my beloved and do my prophet no harm. People will doubt that you are that. I have a video up here that is one of my very favorites, even though I made it myself. It was channeled, and it says, a prophet is never respected in his hometown. It was a channeled message that it was really a balm of Gilead to my soul after really being abused and disrespected by people that knew who I was and knew what I did and knew that I was the truth, but wanted to gaslight me to not believe what I knew. And I know how that feels, and I know that it's happened to you if you're watching. So go listen to that. That is real food for the soul. And it's not because I made it, because it came through me just as much as water comes through a pipe. I listen back sometimes and I think, man, my angels, man, they keep me in the light, man. I'm always shocked sometimes by some of the things that come out of my face because when I was in it, I didn't feel that way. That's why I want you to know how authentic that is when you're channeling too, for any practitioners or specialists here that do the same work that I do. It is important to stay clear because sometimes, well, not sometimes, the messages that come through you are so much better than what I could sit out and write. You understand? I just freestyle it and it gives me life because it's coming from the light. Amen? Come on now. Now, back to you. When they violate, leave and continue to be great. When someone violates you and they think they don't need you anymore and they tell you as much, I've literally had a malignant narcissist be like, I don't need you anymore. She was super cocky, full of herself. Months later, she was like, can you come testify for me in this whatever fabricated thing she had made up? No, I can't. No, I won't. And I never went back into her life ever again. I was like, as you wish. I'm very much that. Your wish is my command. You don't need me anymore? Excellent. See, run, run, run as fast as you can, narcissist. You won't catch me. I am the good luck, good charm, good empath man. You will never catch me again. And so when I realized that a covert narcissist was doing a similar discard, I was like, I'm going to reverse Uno this on you, bitch. Reverse Uno. And what I'm going to do is pull back my energy so that you know from whence the good juju came. Now, I am not God, and neither are you. We people can manifest their own, and I always tell you that narcissistic people are fully capable of manifesting goodness in their life, even if it's temporary. They can't maintain it, but they certainly can pull it in. And but their ability to manifest increases and accelerates with you next to them. Do you understand? You are good luck. So this is not just that you're magical, but energy is shared. This is the stuff you need to know. Meaning, if you get with a toxic person, you will take on the toxicity and the karma of their life. I have a video up here that I made just a few days ago, and it says, Gunner's mama, grab a white claw and have a seat. Gunner's mama is a person that helped to bring that covert narcissist that I used to know defeat, because she was low vibrational and demonic. And with them linking up, it was like Wonder Twins activate. Their powers combined, squared, and multiplied created effery in both of their lives in spectacular firework ways. With me in that person's life, even though it was never meant for me to stay, so don't get romanticizing about like, well, are we supposed to stay forever? Nope, nope. It happened just how it was supposed to. But when I was in that person's life, she was manifesting, she was happy, she was feeling love, she was feeling sexually free. I teach a lot of sex therapy and stuff like that with people. Even if they're just a friend, I help people work through some of their sexual hang-ups and get out of them. So I am a person that teaches you to embrace who you are in every way, and not just sexually, but day to day. So I was giving her tools and tips, and she was siphoning it and loving it, and she certainly didn't want to give me credit, and that's fine, but she got to a point where she got cocky. It will always happen. It is Icarus. This is a reason that these stories exist. That's Greek mythology, but Icarus, who had hubris, and he flew too close to the sun, and his wings that he fashioned melted in the light of the sun. You are the light, empath. You are the truth. You illuminate and you shine down, and people see the truth through you. And so if someone thinks that they can fly in your face, it's a great metaphor, thank you, angels, then they will meet ultimate disgrace. Icarus flew too close to the sun because of his hubris, his pride. I've made these wings. I'm doing something humans never do. And he flew too close, and the sun says, I've got something to show you. It is me. Now, that's not about it being you, empath, that you're all powerful. You're not. We are not. We are merely conduits. We are merely earth angels. But when someone is under our care, and that's what narcissists and toxic people don't realize, is yes, we are assigned earth angels. And excuse me, well, now I'm getting assigned earth angels because I've done my work, but I was assigned assholes for a long time. And earth angels are assigned assholes. There's something you need to understand. So when that happens, guys, what you need to understand is this. You will have that assignment with that person, and they get to kick it. Does that make sense? They get to kick the bucket out from underneath you. They get to sabotage you, and they get to tell you they're through with you. As you wish, and then you remove yourself and you continue to be great, because they will start to think that it was you, that they'll start to think it was me, the empath I did make, meaning they will think that they were responsible for whatever, when really when you are around a narcissist, you will start to look different, feel different, you will be depleted and dilapidated in various ways. You will get drained because they're draining you, because they're energy vampires. So you have to be so careful. But I always wait. It's kind of one of my favorite things. I do not welcome it again, but in the last few years, as I got a real handle on it, I was like, ooh, oh, this is how this works. But I've done it with malignant narcs and coverts alike. But it is to let them think that you absolutely are going nowhere and that you couldn't need them more. And then you're like, psych, because their cockiness, they're like, I don't need you. They start to devalue you. They start to push you away. They start to triangulate you. They start to throw other people in your face. They start to treat you poorly and terribly. And so when that happens, I say, oh, okay. And then I happily and quietly, while genuflecting and acting like, oh, kind sir, kind ma'am, I can't stand to be in your light anymore. Indeed, you shine so greatly. Go and light up the city. And then I walk away. And what happens is they immediately deflate. They become Icarus. with rivers of wax dripping down to earth as they start to understand that it was your worth that they were siphoning from, and that you had the master plans. Because empaths, we are strategists, aren't we? We are helpers. We are people that will set you free from your toxic relationship, from that crazy baby mama, baby daddy, whatever you've got going on, from a bad bestie, from a corporate job that's not respecting thee. We are people that are cheerleaders in every way. And so they felt quite empowered because in your energy and in your light and under your wing they did stay until they looked you in your face and says brighter days and better days if you got away, because ew, it's so gross and I'm so embarrassed of you, and they started to treat you like shit. The universe watched them do it. Your ancestors watched them do it. Walk away. When they violate, walk away. Don't stay there to be a doormat. That's one of the things that we're renowned for being, right? Is a doormat. That we will let somebody treat us badly over and over and over, and we never divest from them. Walk away. Watch what happens to their life. Even if you're not, like, I didn't stay in that last covert narc's life to know. I've had malignant narcs. Malignants are more bold. They circle back for sure with a good hoover. She hoovered me too, but it was just not the same. I wasn't even, the way that she did me, y'all, there was like, I couldn't even entertain the hoover for my own ego. I was like, if you don't get away from me, you are bad luck. You are literally like the omen, like the worst of luck I've ever seen in my life because of who she linked up with. Be careful. Birds of a feather do in fact flock together, and it is one of the 48 laws of power. Beware of the unfortunate. I made a video about that here too, specifically about those two a couple of years ago. Beware of the unfortunate and the needy, because they will transfer that toxic low vibrational energy to you. You will find yourself in a situation where you're like, how did I get here? How did I get bad luck? How come my car's breaking down? How come my bank account's emptying? How come I'm getting fired from my job? How come I'm not getting the promotion? How come I'm finding out that my spouse is cheating? How come this is happening? How come someone's leaving? How come people around me are actually dying? I have literally counseled people around the world that got with people and didn't realize that they were assimilating and taking on their karma, and they were catching a rocket ship to hell. Okay, it's the same way that if you get with a great earth angel or an empath that's treating you well, you can catch a comet to space, right? So I just had a really cool experience with my bestie, and we I I said, bestie, we're, there were some circumstances, and I was like, I'm swimming for it, right? So it's a little joke between us, but I was like, I'm swimming for it, and whatever the case may be, energetically. And I was like, I hope that you are swimming with me. And she was like, girl, I don't know. And then eventually she swam with me too. What I mean by that is our karma is connected. So we have parallel experiences. Sometimes so parallel that we're both up not feeling well regarding our tummies in the middle of the night at the same time. And we might text and find it out in the middle of the night, or the next morning we're like, you were up at 2 too? I was up at 2 too. So that's the thing. You will share energy with somebody that you're with. Now, fortunately for me, Bestie traffic's in fantastic energy. So most of the time, it's pretty good stuff that we're working through or sending through. Even if it is a tummy trouble, we get through it together, even though we are miles and miles and miles and miles apart. But you will connect and share energy with someone that with whom you share a heart. An empath, if you're sharing a heart with someone toxic who is narcissistic, you will also connect with them too, and then their karma also begets you. You will now be taking on their karma. So that's just a quick message. Just pay attention, because good or bad, like I said, I had a beautiful experience where we both had lovely outcomes, but it's because we are trafficking in that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just generate this energy that we're going to both get back to a better place in this area. And we did. Now, let's take a look here at people that violate you. Violate is anything. Do they make you not feel good? Are they talking down to you? Are they gaslighting you? Are they actually just trying to discard you and trying to convince you that someone else is better? That's a violation. And because we're so used to abuse in so many different levels, and it being so nuanced, a lot of us will be like, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. And I'm here to tell you it's all bad. I'm here to tell you, pay attention to every red flag you've ever had about a person, because they were actively trying to diminish your energy and to make you less than in some capacity, while having the audacity to look in your face and be like, I don't need you anymore. You sure about that? Now, I'm not saying that you need to stay there to be needed, because that's one of the things that as empaths we're here to work through. How people need us, how people feel about us, how we show up for people. That's one of the things that we're here to learn, is to not be so codependent. So no, I'm not saying you need to stay there forever and that they need to need you forever and be codependent on you. That is an ego stroke for empaths, and sometimes we make ourselves incredibly invaluable to people that are toxic because there's a payoff. Can we talk? Oh, you didn't think I was going to talk about it? Good morning, Kesala. You didn't think I was going to tell the truth about me and you? It's me and you, babes. Yes, sometimes we will try to make ourselves invaluable to people, and that's where our people pleasing and overgiving comes in. But once you start healing, you'll start to notice they violated. I don't feel the need to people please. I don't do people pleasing behaviors with my bestie. I am happy to please her and to take care of her and to make sure she feels loved and edified. Same thing with my husband or any other friends in my life. But I'm not doing things at their behest, their insistence, their manipulations, or their expectations. I do things because it makes me feel nice. You understand? Right? It's not about a payoff of like, now I need this from you, and then the ego stroke and this and that. When you're with toxic people, the reason that a lot of us allowed ourselves to get into the situation to be violated is because there is some part of us that says, I am only valuable if I am producing. Now, I know for me that it has been a truth. Maybe examine if that has been a truth for you. When I say producing, if I'm doing something for you, if I'm the only person that can fill that need, that is absolute balderdash and utter toxicity. When you love people, you set them free. Now, it's not to say that I haven't trafficked in it and done it myself. It is to say that I understand exactly what I was doing and that I can no longer do it with anyone else, and I don't want you to either. Because once you start to get healthy, then you will assess the violations differently, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that was disrespectful. Now, we empaths are built for tough, right? So we definitely have taken a lot, too much, and enough. That's so funny. I said for tough, and I was going to say Chevy Silverado. And have you guys seen a Mary King? He's like a comedian from Kentucky. Anyway, he did a spoof years ago about Chevy Silverado. I can't say it, being tougher than. Anyway, that's so funny. Synchronistic moment for my angels. So maybe we're Chevy tough. I don't know. But the point is this: you 108,000% will be discarded by one of those toxic people. They don't think they need you, and it's okay. It's part of our life lesson. It was supposed to go that way. So if you're here listening and you're like, but wait a minute, Monette, that didn't feel good. No, it didn't, but it needed to feel that way so that you could find your self-worth. Okay. Also, so that you can know how you are the light source. You are the sauce. You are the dressing. You're that empath. They missed their blessing. And I'm not saying that in like a mommy's way, like, it's okay, my baby. Well, I am saying it that way too. You guys know I love you. But, I'm not saying it in like some pity way, though, of like, they missed out on the best thing they ever had. If you're in someone's life and they were down bad when you met them and you helped build them and elevate them and raise their vibration, then they were like, I'm going to take it out to the nations. I'm going to be community peen, community vagine. I'm going to be a community bestie. I'm going to have no loyalty to you, whatever the case may be. Trust me, empath. They needed thee. You needed me. Isn't that what Rihanna said? Yeah. So whether and they don't have to need you forever. You were there to teach them about growth. You were there to teach yourself about enmeshments and your codependency, and also about letting go. Throat chakra, about speaking up for yourself. Yo, you're not going to stop me today. About speaking up for yourself and about how you push yourself forward. You were there to teach them about that. Also about accountability, about doing shadow work. There are a myriad of lessons that you were there to teach them, and whether they got it or not, if they discarded you, they missed your blessing. If you discarded yourself, in the last covert narc thing, I discarded myself because I was like, you know what, you're not going to do is do this to me, not on my watch, and I'm going to let you feel the full wrath of it. That person was extremely cruel, and so my shadow side activated very strongly for the disengagement, and before I left, I was like, and now you'll watch me, stalker. Now you'll watch me. I was very clear to that person because I knew their personality archetype. I knew because I had been their bestie and watched them in their life stalk other people, look up other people's stuff, and I was like, it was very prophetic. I had painted a painting years and years ago, 20 years ago, when we became friends, and it was of a sun rising, and it was of her being isolated and silent treatmenting and being by herself. And when the end of the relationship came, my angels gave me the download and they said, look at it again. And I had taken a series of pictures because someone bought that painting at an art show years later. And so it was in a friend of mine's house. And I was at her house and her husband's house. And for whatever reason, my angels were like, take a picture. My angels and me in pictures are so funny. And they were like, take a series. And I didn't even know how to work my camera good. Y'all don't know that about me, but not so like tech savvy enough to survive, but not like amazing. And it took like a series of quick shots, right? I hope I can, I wonder if I will be able to find it, but it took a series of quick shots. And I even sent it to her as I was like, good night, farewell, Alvida saying goodbye, adieu to you and you, meaning all of her multiple personalities were good. And it was of her, instead of it was just her watching the sunrise, it was almost her kind of cowering down as the sun rose. And I had made the sun in gold leaf specifically. And my angels gave me the prophecy, and I want to pass this on to you, my sweet empath, that they will watch you from afar as you grow and glow, as you do what you do. And now that same thing where it was like off in the distance, you were the sun warming their face, it will be their greatest disgrace that they lost you. And the prophecy is fulfilled. It is fulfilling as we speak. It was so interesting, the different way that that camera took the pictures that day, that I couldn't have done it again if you asked me to, where she almost looked like the sun was so bright that she was trying to protect herself. That's how people will feel about you as they watch your glow up. Those same people that were like, I don't need you. The magic of me having painted something 20 years ago and always feeling in the reverse, like I was there to protect her and stop her from being her worst. And they said, she will watch you be your best, because she said, thank you next. Indeed. And now you're living in 7 rings. Oh, that's going to be my reading for the morning. 7 rings. Ariana Grande. All right, so that'll be up next. I will do a reading on 7 rings. I just got the download about it. You're now living in 7 rings, okay? And there's something about that in 7 rings where it's like she says, all of riches, taking care of all of my wishes with all of my riches and spoiling people that you love. Empath, we spoil the people that we love. I'm not just talking about monetarily. I'm talking about energetically. The love that you give is so juicy, so verdant green, so healing, so infusing that people cannot forget you. And that's why when I say, when they violate, continue to be great, that's that sun. I said, now you will watch the sun shine on my face, hater. Now you will watch as I get greater and greater. Now, I said that in a broken place. Come on, Rihanna. We found love in a broken place. I found my self-esteem in a broken place, like many of you will do. When you walk away from someone who's been gaslighting you or narcissistic or toxic to you, you'll be like, oh my God, the world is over, but it's not. And one of the things that I learned in that journey was that there was things that should not be forgot, which is the temerity and the will and skill that you have that hides within you. And when you leave one of those connections, when I say go on to be great, I promise you greatness is absolutely within you. Okay? And those people that shunned you or maybe discarded you or treated you badly or triangulated you or wanted other people to be, lauded and put on pedestals, don't give a damn about them. Not one, not a single one, not in the way that you ever could. Even if they feel like they give a damn about them, our love is unparalleled. Our love is unmatched. I think of some Sade songs where it talks about that. Our love is unparalleled. Okay? And what I mean by that is because we give from a place of, I don't even know, sometimes it's otherworldly. So if someone makes you feel triggered or feel away and you've already given them a heads up, that's one of the things I love about my Empath and Divine Feminine Collective. We don't just disembark immediately. We usually let people know, like, hey, that's too much, or hey, that's disrespectful, or hey, that didn't make me feel good. And if they choose to override it and then continue to be disrespectful, then say goodbye, forever. What they will do is long for you. What they will do is stalk you. It just works that way. Now, I will tell you, in the last couple of years, I didn't want that to be the thing. I've gotten over it. I just know it is. It is what it is. And this is what the light brings. People are attracted to the light. So even if it's not that covert and arc, I don't think that that person is still watching anymore. I definitely know that other people will and do, because that's just what people do. But in your life, it's the same for you. So the person that you think, I mean, I think she did for a while. I definitely think that the prophecy that I predicted definitely came true in some ways with her. But I feel like she moved on and did her life just like she should. I'm not, empaths, we're not cruel like them. So I didn't want her to be stuck in any purgatory in her head over me. Go live and be free, you know? But God has a way of balancing things out. If you were stuck in your head, if they treated you bad, if they left you for clout, they will feel all of that in spades, double down 10 times with ancestors, machetes at their neck, not so funsies. So I say get out of the way, because if you stay there with them, you will then inherit their karma. And you don't want that. That energy transference is real. So when someone violates, leave because you do not want to have to absorb the heat of what they did to you. I was never going to help her get through what she did to me. I was never going to counsel her, and I could tell that she wanted me to. She was sad about something else and someone else, not even acknowledging the shitbag she was to me. And I was like, F you. F you, and you figured this out on your own for once in your lazy life. Figure this out on your own, just like I had to. You absolutely decimated and broke my heart, and I'm not a person that passes stuff like that on, but I did depart. And that's the best thing you can do. Don't go back, because when you go back, then they have abuse energy for you. They want to abuse you, because how dare you have left. That's why people say when you leave a narcissist run, or when you unmask a narcissist run. I wasn't in any running mood from her. I ran for my own self sanity, and so that I could stay legally functioning in society. Because you ever have been tried so bad by somebody that you're like, this bitch, this bitch had me fully lower vibrational, and I don't like when people can pull me out of my character like that. And now that I've healed it, and now that I've moved on, yes, I could be around this person, but not for long. And actually, I associate her with negativity, bad luck, and money loss. So I literally would never be around her, just because I feel like even being in her presence would be like a vortex of bad luck, and like the freaking seven seals would open, and the earth would start swirling into the toilet, because that's how I saw her life, and that's how I saw her energy. And actually, what I heard, and maybe this is something for you to know, for the people that treat you that way, it's that it goes that badly. I had an experience with families regarding violation. Someone violated me, violated my boundaries, went out of the way to be cruel to me. It wasn't real beef. It was just something that they conjured up because they felt insecure. And guys, empaths, please know how you will trigger people. Your light triggers people's demons. And people think it's like evil and it's like the omen. No, it's as simple as like if someone has an insecurity about aesthetics and you happen to be aesthetically pleasing, that's triggering a demon for them. So it doesn't have to be so like woo, like bring it down back to earth for what works for you. Let's say you're a fantastic car mechanic and you're working with your broskies at the shop. You're the best one. You can take apart a carburetor in 15 seconds and put it back together. Other broski that can't do that, that's knuckles are all busted up, that's getting banged by springs and messing it up, and not putting the cap back on the oil pan, his demons will be triggered by you, broski. Does that make sense? You know, yes, we understand competition with women, but it happens with men. I counsel a lot of men too that have people that feel triggered by them, and they're just like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm living my best life. I'm not trying to make anybody feel badly. I'm trying to make everybody feel right. Yes, this too will happen to you. That's what it means to have someone trigger. So then they will start to be mean to you. That's what I mean by violate you. They will start to try to punish you. They will start to take digs, tell jokes at your expense, gossip about you, not come to your defense, take credit for things that you're doing, all of that stuff, because they're triggered by you. And what they want to do is bring you down to their level. You can't be this great. Why do people like you this much? How come you can take the carburetor process stuff? How come your hair looks like that? How come you're this? How come you're that? Whatever it is. And you're over there absorbing all of this and being like, wow, I was really nice to them. And then our old empath, people-pleasing self tries to be nicer. And really, they're just a piece. And you were there to elevate them. It doesn't mean that they're all bad, because there have been people that are toxic that have come to me later and been like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, you gave me pushback and I hated you in the moment, but it really helped me to grow. So I've had that too. You don't get that from everybody, because not everybody's going to do that. But what you need to understand is this. You will never get anything, even just an intuitive download and hit from your angels, that you were effective for them, until you go and stay gone. Okay? So when I had the family thing happen, you're like, well, you can't stay gone from family. This is family. They're going to be around you. It's XYZ to the third power. You are correct. But I divorced my energy from that family member, and it's energy she will never get again in her life. And she did experience the sweetness of me in her life, being high vibe, loving her without judgment, without protecting myself. But I had to learn to protect myself in her energy because she did not mean well for me. She started to be weirdly triggered by me in ways that I did not want her to be. I can't tell you how much I love this person, but she was mean to me, and she was mean to me repeatedly, and she was mean to other people repeatedly. And so I just divorced myself of her energy. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a big knockdown, drag out route. With family members or people that you co parent with, it's called gray rocking, kids. You don't always need to make it a big deal, and you can't. I'm still going to show up at the dinners for Christmas and this and that and the third, but she doesn't get my energy. I still will talk to her, hey girl, but you don't know what's going on with me intimately. To be intimately close to an empath is a blessing, okay? So when they violate, let them violate, let them learn their lesson, and you go on and be great. Be that sun that's rising that they now have to shield their face from, because you don't stop shining. You may have a shadow moment, you may have a little crying, you may be like, why God did this happen to me again, why were they lying? But what I don't want you to do is lie to yourself. You are infinite wealth, empath. You are abundance. You are a spring. You have a river of life flowing out of you. You are what makes birds sing. You are your own Disney princess, be that. And they hate that. They are Maleficent, okay? And maybe she had a good heart down in there somewhere, and we empaths love to gravitate to that Maleficent. That Maleficent loves to gravitate to us, and we are the dawdling child. You know how in Maleficent, her kid's like dawdling off the edge of a cliff, and Maleficent has to save her. Listen, we all have that like fantasy with our toxic person. We are there to help them for sure elevate, but the way you elevate them the best is to get out of Dodge and go be great. And then if they are truly meant to grow, they will follow suit. And maybe someday they'll let you know. And maybe someday they won't. I'm going to let you know, though, in case you never hear from those narcissists and toxic people again. And why would you want to? I didn't. I was like, I wish I could give you guys what I had regarding associating her with poverty. I was like, ooh, ooh. And listen, guys, I have been shoestring poor, but I still lived well. What I mean by that is I still vacationed. I still had a thing that had bling, even if it came from the Dollar Tree. I have no shame about it because I lived in my means and what I could at the time as what was best for me. So this is not me being bougie. This is not me being extra. This is me telling you, this is not about leveling up on anybody's status wise. This is about leveling up energetically. Do you get what I'm saying? To this day, leveling up energetically. So when they treat you badly and they violate, walk away forever. And then watch their life turn into a pile. You don't do it because you hate them. You probably did it because they pushed you to it by being so horrible. I've never had someone do something so irreparable as this person did. The way that she played games and omitted things and was just slippery, I have no respect for it. I would never let you around me. I don't trust you. You're crazy. You're actually crazy. And so it's so important to understand. Let them live in that, baby. Let them live in that. Let them live in the thing that they swear to God it was you. They try to gaslight people around you. It's the empath, that earth angel with all of her woo-woo. She's crazy. She's the witch. She's the this and that. Okay, you sure about that, babe? Wait. Just wait and walk away. Now, in the family dynamic, let's talk about it because it's holiday time. We're going to be around a lot of family. I know I'm going to be around mine, but there are people that I'm like, not today, Satan. You don't get any more of my energy. And I do so unapologetically. What I started to do with that one family member was I strategically cut her out of everything. And I did it without any kind of compunction, meaning she would ask for this and ask for that and whatever this and whatever that, and I would give her everything because I loved her. I was like, you get a car, everything. And then she started to like shit talk me, and I would hear from other family members that she told people that I did this. Like last year, guys, let me give you an example. I was really sick, you guys know that, and I lost a bunch of weight because I was sick, and yes, I was trying to, but then I got really sick, and then it got crazy scary, and she told everyone in my family that I had gastric, which I did not do. I'm a very transparent person. If I ever have gastric, I would be talking to you guys about it. I would make like vlogs about it. I talk about it. I document it, right? But she didn't like that I was losing weight, which is crazy to me because I was sick as a dog, like sick as a dog, like in the hospital for the most time I've ever spent in the hospital in my life, and it was months and months and months, right? So I was like, wow. And so someone that's gonna do that because they were just hating because they thought you looked better, which is crazy because I was like, I look sick. But that's okay. That's okay. We all want health in whatever way, but it wasn't achieved in a healthy way, and she knew it. She'd come to the hospital. She'd seen me. She'd seen me fall out. She'd seen me not be able to breathe. She'd seen me not be able to walk. Like, she knew. So it wasn't like she was unaware I was keeping something from her. It was that she just was competitive and just wanted to talk shit. So I divorced myself from any services for her, energetically, emotionally, because I knew she wasn't it. She wasn't rooting for me. She didn't make me feel good. Pay attention to those spiritual hives that I've talked about that came through in a downloaded meditation. Hearing intuitively vicious or varying energy that's being sent your way, HIVES. You will break down in spiritual hives when people do not wish you the best, and that means they're violating you. Your level of violation is left up to your interpretation. I cannot tell you a list of all the things that mean that you're violated, but someone second guessing your intuition and gaslighting you, that's a violation. Someone that is gossiping about you unwarranted, that's a violation. If it doesn't make you feel good, it's a violation. That's where I really will ask you to test yourself. What do you feel about people that come into your life? And if they're taking from you, do you feel violated? Do you feel like it's not right? That's one of the things that I had to ask myself. I was like, you know what? I do feel violated here. I do feel like this isn't fair. I do feel like you're coming for me. And so I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't call my bestie. I didn't call anybody. I fell on my knees and I talked to my homie. Jesus is my homie. I was like, oh, this one's not for me. I also had some ancestral interference with that. My dad came through and he was a tricky, tricky one too. And he was narcissistic, and but he very much like now gets it and is an avenging angel in his own weird way for me. I would have never thought it, but he came through the same day that I was trying to like have a communication with this person, and he was like, pay attention to this one, she's tricky, I'm putting her on timeout. And then she did something that was so egregious, and I was like, ah, I'm out. And that's it. Now what she has done is done what any toxic person will do, is just send people to come and chat with me about it and what's going on. Nothing's going on. Nothing that I haven't told her directly to her face, and nothing that if she wants to smoke, who wants to smoke? Hot boxing in the whip. I don't even smoke. I don't gotta smoke because I'll bring the smoke. We are dragons. We are verbal snipers, and she's not used to people standing up to her, and that's okay. That's okay. She tried to gaslight me 6 ways to Sunday. Doesn't matter. I no longer will be in your presence because you violated. That's sad on that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You need to be able to say it to their face. And a lot of us don't have that skill set right away. I wish I could come and be in your earpieces, guys, when you're dealing with some of these toxic family members, because it's a delight for me now. I am delighted to let people know you're not going to get over. But walk away and let them feel the energy, because I gave her lots of pows because I loved her so much. Don't do that. That's not okay. And now you can talk about me every single day, but what you won't have access to is anything that is really private to me or matters, because I don't trust you. And that's that. Don't second guess it. Don't backtrack it. If someone violates you once, they will do it again and again and again. You are not Sam Beckett. Yeah. Yeah. Quantum leaps. Take a quantum leap into your future and walk away from somebody. And I promise you, oh, quantum leap, that's why they did that. Because in quantum leap, he would jump into different places in history and he would try to change the fate of that thing. But that speaks to the butterfly effect. Sometimes you can't go back. People are who they are. They did what they did. They said what they said. And if they felt like you were better left for dead, then leave them for dead. It's not our nature, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and leave them in their head. And the best part about leaving them in their head is get out of yours. Like, in order for that to work, you actually have to get out of yours about them. If I was still pining away and still worried every day and like, why did she play those mind games with me? Why was she mean to me? To anybody that had been mean to me, not just a covert narc, but family, to friends, to exes, then I would not know for a fact that they are being bested by karma, the sweetest of retribution. The universe and ancestors are handling it. And so when they violate, leave them and go be great. When they violate, don't debate with them. Don't try to change your fate. They wanted to violate. People will have sometimes accidentally do a thing, say a thing, and cause you mm, to feel a way. And they don't mean to. Guys, I've hurt people's feelings inadvertently. We're not all evil. But you can tell when you're in the midst of someone who's going out of their way. They will do some telltale cruel things. They will know what your triggers are, and they will try to push those buttons. And that's fine. I don't mind people knowing what my buttons are. I empower myself by telling my truth. But what I won't do is let you trigger me over and over. It'll be you who's triggered, because the kindness that we give is a blessing. Just that. Even if you're doing nothing else for this person, why is that family member sending other flying monkey family members to come and talk to me, even though I love those other family members that are coming, and I get the nature of the beast, I know what's happening. It's because she doesn't have access to me. Doesn't mean she couldn't come talk to me. Doesn't mean we haven't talked. What it means is she misses the sweetness that I offered, the kindness. She misses the way that I looked at her and up to her with batted eyelashes as she hung the moon and the stars. Empath, the way we love is so thorough. And so when someone's like, I don't need you anymore, or they want to talk shit, or they want to wage a war of words, word witchery, people that are gossips are witches, okay? So it's, you don't have to get that deep into like, are they studying Wicca on the third night of the moon? No, gossips are witches, and they have covens where they discuss in group think and in hive think, not spiritual hives, but in hive think and pack mentality, because you are that one bee that causes all that conversation. What does Beyonce say? You know you're that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Well, when people are gossiping about you and you've done nothing but just try to show up and be nice, girl, you that bitch. Don't think twice. But that means that you will have to protect yourself and run for your life, because they will try to violate you again and again, because they want to subjugate you. They want to bring you down. They also may want you to be in it with them. That's something else that I've learned over the years, is sometimes people want to see you in that low vibration, so they can be like, see, empath, you're not that perfect. So what I do is I happily advertise my shadow side now. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not that perfect. Would you like me to cuss you out and cuss your mama out and cuss your toenails out and cuss you out about your whole lifestyle choices, everything you ever did, your bank account, your tax bracket? Because I will. I don't want to be that person, but we all have it in us. I am that person on behalf of you. Now, it is for you that I advocate. I try to turn my powers of verbal assassination for good and for great, but it is turned for you against those who violate. I want you to be empowered and know exactly how to manage that, because you can hurt someone's feelings too, empath, just like they hurt yours. We just chose not to. But there are some people's feelings that you will need to. After the rule of three, if I've talked to you and you still are coming for me, then it's open season. And that's just the way it will be. Now, I prefer for it not to be, because when I get to that place, here's the thing that you need to understand about yourself, empath, is you are here to help people ascend. You are. And it heavy is the head that has to wear that, because it means that you will have to get into the dark, soft, craggy places that people would rather you not be. But that is the truth. Sometimes you're there to help people see. People come to me all the time. They're like, we have work to do together. We have a calling. I get this all of the time. And sometimes I have thought I've had callings with people. And I've been the one that's like, we have work to do. We have a calling, right? And it wasn't wrong, but it didn't play out the way I thought. But they needed to get this empath song, which means that whatever was the shadow stuff they were running from, unfortunately, we illuminate, and I illuminate. Remember I said our light irritates people's demons. So we illuminate things in them that they don't want to see, and call them out for layers of accountability and levels of accountability that they may not want to be at. They may think they want to be in your energy, and they may think that they are poking you and keeping you back with a stick. But it is the same stick that you will take, the true stick, and you will beat them with, figuratively, until they are now so awake, unfortunately, that they can't unsee their special brand of fuckery. That doesn't mean we don't have our own. But every time someone has come for me, and I've been like, but wait a minute, I thought that we were supposed to keep going forward, and they were never going to violate. My angels whispered to me, they said, you had work to do. And sometimes the work doesn't always feel great, but they will learn something from you. They learn it in your absence, and they learn what a mess they created. They learn that they are not able to manifest the same way as they once did. And even if they never tell you thank you, empaths, I say it on behalf of them. They now realize, and they say thank you. You poured into me in a way that no one else would ever do, in a way that no one else has ever done. I've compared you to everyone. I have looked for you everywhere. I want you back as my friend, my lover, my sister, my brother, my mother, my co-worker, my niece, my aunt, my uncle. They will search for you and everyone, depending on your dynamic. That you put in who you are to the person and what you were, but they will never find you again. And for some people, that is the only way they learn. But I'm so proud of you, because if you did your work, they learn. And sometimes, like I said, a teacher cannot be afraid to watch the student ascend. And sometimes ascension is you being away from them. That's where they will really ascend. I loved that covert narc, even though she was a piece of work so much that I was like, you will do your work in this life. I don't care if your heart is broken, just like you broke mine. Meaning I couldn't re-break her heart. I would never. That's something else I get a lot of questions about. But I want them to feel what they did to me. Da, da, da. They will not feel that with you. I was never going to be the source of a heartbreak for her. She was never going to miss me. It was never going to be any of that. It would be other people that she valued highly that were going to teach her the lesson, and they would be my get back. But it would never be from me. So sometimes our egos attach. Fortunately, I've had enough of these rodeos and lessons that I knew that I was never going to push her to ascension in staying with her, and that she was never going to be like, that Monette, I need to give her a call up and da 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 da. Besides blocking her and thinking that she is literally the devil's spawn of bad luck, I didn't want that. That was just me. But a lot of people that I work with and clients do. They're like, I want them to da da da. And let me say it on behalf of them. If they never call you, they miss you. They think of you. They realize who you were. Maybe they did not ever feel empathy for you because they were crazy, but they felt it for somebody else that tried them, dissed them, degraded them, used their money, tricked them, all of that. I promise you, they get it back. Divorce yourself of the ego. Those relationships cause ego deaths. And so when you walk away when they violate, you cause an ego death in them because they can't pull you in for any more shenanigans, right? And that's that on that. But it causes an ego death for you because you may want to hear a sorry for them and you won't get it. In initial discards from a malignant narcissist, I did want that, and I was able to manifest it. Believe it or not, you can manifest it. And they would all come back and be like, it really broke my heart when you did this or that, or I went out into the world and no one else was like you, and I missed our friendship so much. These were platonic, situations, and not slippery frenzy bennies. But you don't always get that, so you need to give it to yourself. But when they violate, walk away and continue to be great. It's their greatest karma, and it's their greatest lesson. You are that guy, you are that blessing, you are that empath, you are the sauce, you are the dressing, and they will wish that every day could be Thanksgiving. They will long for you in ways that you can't imagine. I wish I could tell you guys how many stories I get of people that want to backtrack and that feel so sorry for what they've done, and they wish that they could take back how they put an empath on the run or how they sabotage the relationship. Man, they feel it. They feel it to the depths. I will make another video today about the apologies that have come in since Mercury retrograde. Not just for me, but from what I'm hearing from my clients. Apologies that are what we all wish for, meaning people that have been in divorces for years and years, and then the guy comes back in and it tells the wife, like, oh my God, there's no one like you in the world. Yes, he wants her back, but he really gets the lesson, and that's why I say divest. When they violate, continue to be great. She didn't stop living her best life. She didn't stop being amazing, and she has other love in her life, and juxtaposed against it, he realizes he was in the best position he ever was in, and he says, all these girlfriends are lackluster. I've tried to fill you and find you in everyone, and you can't be replaced. I treated you terribly, and I deserve this egg on my face. That's a real apology that came in. So take that apology. If you never got one from your person, that's how they feel, but they will never feel that while you're there being their punching bag or their doormat. And hold the line with family. I'm not gonna have any kumbayas with that person. I know exactly who she is. I feel exactly about that family member as I felt about the House of Gucci. There is no redemption for you. There is no redemption song. Won't you help me sing? Yeah, help me sing, empath. These songs of freedom, because all I ever had was a redemption song. You redeem yourself and you tell them so long. That is your redemption song. That is your swan song. Swan dive away from that crazy person. And do not backtrack. Because when they can get you back, it's only to abuse you and to hopefully discard you, because narcissists play tit for tat. They always do. All right, let me see what we have here. I'm going to have to charge my phone up. Here was 5353. That might be an angel number someone needs to look up today when I was looking at. Okay, Sala says, good morning. Okay, Sala says, I realized recently I'm struggling with forgiving myself because I begged him to choose wisely and try to get him to see the error of his ways. And the best friend ran to befriend his new woman. They both did that to me twice. I'm still triggered by that, and it's been a few years. Empty says, hold your bag tight. Casella says, I had a dream about him, and it just triggered it all over again. Okay, Casella, let's help you break this down real quick. So what are you triggered about? If you can type that, let me see if I can dissect that for you real quick and give you some insight into that triggering. So if I'm understanding, you warned somebody about something and then they went right into the arms of the person that you warned them about. I call this the Romeo and Juliet effect, right? I don't know that it's anything I've coined, but definitely taken from the Shakespearean play Romeo and Juliet of star-crossed lovers. Whenever you, it's a very teenage thing. Whenever you warn somebody about somebody, they will inevitably run headlong into the arms of that person because they must be so delicious. They're warning me about it. They want to live their best Bonnie and Clyde life. Nobody really researches that Bonnie and Clyde was completely toxic. So what you created was a Romeo and Juliet effect. And it's weird because it's like to tell or not to tell. As empaths, we have spiritual insight into the fact that something's not going to go well or that someone's toxic. I know with my covert narc, I did the same thing. I predicted this person will cause changes and death in your life that will be far reaching. And it did in every way. Ended her health physically, ended her money financially, not at first, but eventually, because the devil does not come to play. So, ended her family, meaning the covert narc forfeited her familial structure. We had a family unit to to be in waiting for someone else who was never going to leave their family unit, which is just hilarious to me. Karma just works itself out. But the point is, I was like, this woman is really toxic for you, and you might want to take this south out of your mouth. But she didn't listen to me. She ran headlong into it. I feel like, let's talk about the butterfly effect and quantum leap. Sometimes we will try to change the course of destiny because we can see, but we're not supposed to. So one of the things I want you to reframe this as, K-Sala, is you were not supposed to change the course of fate. Maybe you were supposed to say the words that you said to that person, but it wasn't supposed to make them do anything different. They had to have that experience because, like I said, when they violate, you walk away and continue to be great. Even though you're still triggered by it, that's okay because PTSD and triggering is a thing. What you are not is in the trenches being treated badly because of it. And they had to learn their lesson. And I think that the reason that we are allowed as empaths, and this is just pure conjecture as I'm channeling now, the reason that we're allowed as empaths to say something about this, and I'm going to clear your energy here because I'm getting all kinds of weird throat chakra hits and everything. Your energy is really heavy about this. So we'll do some Palo Santo. But the reason that your energy is still heavy about this, angels, let's clear this up for Kesala. And this is going to take a few more months to clear up for you, Kesala, so this is not immediate. But right now, we're going to clear this up for you with a little Palo Santo. I love Palo Santo for helping me think clearly. I want you to have really good brains about this and a good head wrap around this. But the reason I think that we're allowed to tell people about the danger that we see coming is multifold. I think one, it validates that we were seeing for them on the best of their behalf, right? Two, it validates our own prophetic nature as empaths, where we sometimes can doubt ourselves. Three, it lets them know that there is something supernatural out there that's bigger than us going on. Because a lot of these toxic people don't really believe in God. They are agnostic or maybe even atheist. And I'm not talking about just the sake of spirituality, but we are here to teach a lesson. And sometimes having a seer come into your life, a prophet, a visionary, a friend that has great intuition, whatever you want to name it, is so important to help raise your vibration. So whether you realize it or not, they said not everyone gets to harvest. Some people plant the seed, some people till the soil. So you had the not fun part of tilling the soil and then being discarded, and it absolutely is heartbreaking. And betrayal will be heartbreaking. But what one of the lessons that I teach here too, and I have a video here about it, when your Judas appears, your blessing is near. So each empath is usually triggered by a Judas, and that's why the model was given to us by Jesus and Judas, right? So that had to happen. Jesus also predicted someone here is going to betray me. Several people there did. He said, Peter, you're going to deny me before the cock crows 3 times. He was like, Judas, he gave Judas the first piece of bread because he was saying, like, this is my body. Do this in the remembrance of me, the body that you're betraying, the body that will be hung for you, even though I already know what you're going to do. We usually know that people will not listen, but we want to give them the information. And in part, there is some prophecy, in part, there is some ego, but in part, there is fate and destiny. It was always supposed to go the way it went. So I don't want you to think that you could have done anything different. Though the betrayal, I will hold space with you in, that is triggering. To be betrayed, to have them go with the op. The covert narc went with a whole racist op. In my case, I will never forgive her. Meaning, like, yes, do I have to forgive her? Sure, to live, okay. When I was on my deathbed, literally, my angels were like, you got to forgive her. I was like, okay. But will I ever be back around her and trust her? No. But I helped her grow. That's the best way that I can say it. And I think the same is for you, Sala. When I say helped her grow, she now knows that there is a God that is real, that is bigger than her and bigger than me, and that I was only acting on behalf as a channel to bring her clarity, and that I meant the best for her, and I was worried about her, and I cared. And I think the same will be held for you regarding the person that you did that for or to, even though they betrayed you, and even though it's coming back up in some PTSD ways. It's meant to help you discover, and meant for them to discover, that there's something bigger than what we can see in our face, and that you had their best interest at heart. I don't care about the covert narc in my life, knowing that I had her best interest at heart. At the time, I did. I mean, I wasn't wrong. Now I was just like, I wasn't wrong. It is what it is. But at the time, it broke my heart that she would make me into the enemy. And I imagine you're feeling the same thing. And I think that that's a natural part of our own personal evolution, is to know that people will turn you into the enemy, even when all you want to do is see them grow. And that's why I say, when they violate, move on and continue to grow and be great. And then that will be for them the more they know. That rainbow goes over their head when you're away. The triggering about being betrayed, that takes time to heal. I have only words to say about that, which is that it is very real, that it takes time to heal. But it also can be utilized properly, like fertilizer for new relationships. That thing that was a bunch of shit, a pile of shit, turns into something that fertilizes things that grow and come to fruition, which are new relationships in which you know boundaries and you can speak to a flag. With my bestie, if there's something going on with her connection, I can speak to it without her feeling threatened. She's not leaving it because of me. I'm not leaving my connections because of her. And I'm not just talking about our intimate partner connections, but like new friends or whatever. That was a big thing with the House of Gucci. My bestie was really sweet and observing. She wasn't territorial over me. She was protective, and she was patient, and she gave me space to explore that connection completely. So that's what happens when you get betrayed, is I find that you turn it into something where you now have something that's really healthy. And the cost, unfortunately, is there must be a pile of shit. There must be some manure, and you must have to till it in order to get that beautiful fruit tree. And you will get that someday, Sala. But it is part and parcel, par for the course, to feel away when you were betrayed and it threw you off course, and all you wanted to do was intercept and help. And then it gets you to reevaluate how you do that in the future. And I was tested in the future with warning another person about another thing, and I felt triggered like you, and I thought, never again. I mean, I just did it last time. We see how that turned out. And my angel said, is that your responsibility, to not open your mouth, to not say something, to not stand as in space of protection for this person? They said, no, you owe this person what we are telling you to give them. So I couldn't even keep my mouth shut when it happened, like maybe a year ago in another situation, and I was worried about a friend. And I did speak up, and it didn't go well again. And then they came back and they were like, "Oh, you were right." It went very different than the covert narc, who wanted to keep it hidden until the day she died. But she didn't know by being in that situation she bought her death. Okay, let's see. I have more, and my phone's gonna die. So let's see here. Mm. Okay, if they had the gift of foresight, they wouldn't have treated you like that to begin with. Let them have what they think they want. Come on, SDF. SDF is always dropping truth bombs over here. SDF? Girl, my sky? Uh, Taking us to the light? She's right. Let them have what they think they want. That's what I did. I was like, oh, you want it? You want it? You got it. Dripping like water. Everything. I sealed that covert narc's desires with a kiss. You want her? You can have her, sis. You want this connection? You can have it, sis. You want to be broke and filled with infections? You can have it, sis. You want to neglect your children together and be bad moms and fist punch, Wonder Twins activate, full of bullshit and hate? Have it, sis. You want to be witchy covens that gossip all day? Have it, sis. You want to have demons running through your bodies and never sleep at night? Have it, sis. You want to be drug addicted and addled and never feel right? Have it, sis. You want your body to fall apart? You want people around you to actually die? You want to lose your job? You want to lose your car? You want to cry and cry and cry? Have it, sis. See, that's the other side of what it is we can see things that they can't see. And I saw a whole world devolving right before she, and I saw the person that helped it devolve probably going off, skipping off back to their family. I was like, oh, you want that? You got it, sis. Let's see. SDF says, I can't see it. It's out there. Casella says, it was someone I was with. I was telling him how he dissed me and withheld his love from me. Dissed me and withheld his love from me. And then out of nowhere, he got someone else pregnant and pursued that relationship. In the recent dream, I was begging him to explain his actions, but he was crying. It was weird. Thanks, SDF and Monette. SDF, he was probably crying because he realizes that he can't be saved by you. Yeah, now he has responsibility and all the things he was running from you. I definitely watched people in my life build families with other people in my face, lie to me, but I had to heal generational curses. This is so deep, and my phone's going to die, but I want to tell you, we will revisit this. This is so deep because what I did for my situation was it was about breaking generational curses where women in my family were cheated on in their face and they turned their head the other way. And even though it wasn't exactly that same situation, it was to a degree in my situation similar. And my angels were like, are you going to break this generational curse and tell her F you and tell her you know your worth and that she doesn't get to gaslight you and you're not going to turn your head while she tries to triangulate you with somebody else that is not just beneath you but actually racist and wishes death on you? F her, okay? That's why, I don't know. I feel for you, but trust me, with my situation, I was like, oh, this one, what a piece of work. Yeah, SCF is right. He can't be saved by you. Kaytala says, wow, I didn't think of that. There was a dream where he was sick and I was taking care of him. I just felt like sometimes I'm haunted by him. He was a soulmate. Sorry for taking time. This message just helped me. Oh my God, no. This is literally what I'm here to do. You guys have seen me make the videos. I'm here to serve you. This is where I do my service. I definitely get paid for my work, but this is my favorite thing is these discussions and you popping up and me helping you to rediscover your worth, because every time I do that, I rediscover mine. He will haunt you. He was a soulmate. It doesn't mean that he will haunt you for the rest of your life, but you will think about him. It doesn't mean that I don't think about the covert narc. I just girl, I try not to though, because I just associate her with poverty and loss, like I said. So maybe there are some associations you can make negatively that you just don't even let her in your head or let him in your head. That's what I did. I just couldn't let her in my head. After the first couple of months, I was like, oh, everything about you is toxic and bad. You have run game on me for years, and I let you because I loved you, and I felt very mushy and similar that you did. I really valued that person, and she really hated me, and that's what I had to think. So I think you're right. He's definitely crying because he misses you, and you took care of him, and this is so helpful. You are so welcome. You took care of him, and it's okay to feel that way. You will still miss him. You will still think about him. You will. It's different for everybody. Again, it took me a few months. And then I was like, okay, well, bitty beep, bitty beep. You were the worst. And that's it. But my situation was extreme, right? So I had a lot of vitriol. The racist part, it's like I couldn't get past it. I couldn't get past the op she linked up with. But anybody that your person that you love links up with will be the op. No matter what the subsections are, no matter what the points are under the relationship, you will see that person as an opposition. That was just an op to my very life. I was like, oh, now we're healing all ancestral stuff. But listen, you will think about them STF. You will miss them at first as you're working through the codependency. I don't care if it's been years. Sometimes that will happen. I'm going to pray for you and wish for you a clearing of that so that way you can move on and manifest in relationships that value you. It is so hurtful, and it's one of the things that I counsel more often than not when women are like, but why did they choose to make a relationship with this other person when they wouldn't with me? Clearly, you probably weren't as easy as the other person. What I mean by that is you were getting pushback regarding emotional growth. I know that specifically from my situation. I would require the covert narc to grow. The other person required her to pop that, twerk it, shake it, smoke it, bake it, steal it, scam it, embezzle it, criminalize it, neglect it. I just was not about that life. You were going to have to raise your vibe to be with me. And my vibe was raising exponentially. And I would have only raised she, as I imagine you would have only raised he. But I think probably they gravitate to the lower vibrational person because it's just an easier place to be. Water finds their own level. That is probably what he was the whole time. And then he got stuck, quote unquote stuck. But that's a soulmated lesson. And that's what I need you to understand. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It means that we have many soulmates. So he needed that lesson with that person who was going to drag him through the mud in whatever way and be stuck with a kid that he maybe ends up not loving, or he loves the kid but he hates her. So many lessons that are going to play out there that you would have never taught him because you loved him too much. And that's when I say that, I can say that unequivocally because I know that with the covert narc, I loved her so much more than I loved me for a long time. And then I loved me and I was like, I hate you. It was so clear for me, the switch. But it wasn't as romantic as yours was. Does that make sense? So maybe that's the difference. But anyway, this is a great message for another time to follow back up. Hey, Sala. I don't know if you've written me a letter or not, but my email is mbnatta@yahoo.com. Send me an email with your story, with him specifically, and I'll read it and we'll go through it and I can really dissect it piece by piece if you're up for it. Okay, sweetie? All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Come back and join me next time. Let me see if I got any more. And we will continue to embezzlement. Girl, I mean, let them have what they think they want. Now the feds. Now the spiritual feds. Now the ancestors. Now they wish they were dead. These two, I will just leave you with this, were both suicidal. I know we're all allowed to say that on YouTube. They both wanted to unalive themselves all the time. The covert narc was Eeyore, and always like, why are we on this earth? It's a hellscape. All of that, right? And I would always be like, try to pull her off the ledge. And then she manifested someone who also idolized suicide, even though both of them were too selfish to ever do it. And they were never going anywhere, and they were going to just both be here. And by the time it was over with, why did I find myself? See, this is where the shadow comes in. Why did I find myself being like, why don't you guys actually like do that? Because you were literally useless to everybody. I mean, that was my dark, deep shadow, and that's the truth. But after years of them gaslighting me, or her gaslighting me, and then her gaslighting the other girl that gaslit her, I just was like, you both are like absolutely worthless. You had no value to your children's life. You had no value to society or anything else. She wanted a thing, and she got it. And she picked it right off the shelf. And now you have to push an empath far. The narcissist has pushed you far when you're like, why are you even here? Like, I never said that to her because I would never traffic in that cruelty. But I really felt that. I was like, wow. All those years that I tried to stop you from killing yourself, and here I'm wondering why you're here now. Because now I realize that you guys just wreak havoc, drama, and sickness and pestilence. You're like a plague. Like, whatever. Anyway, they're still here because they have lessons to learn. I am not God. I don't get to make that decision. But they both played with people's emotions a lot. With that, I'm so suicidal. No, they were not. They're both going to be old, bitter, mean ladies living their worst, embezzled, scammy, shriveled up, aging like milk life. And that's what she wanted. She chose it. She plucked it out of the tree. She was like, out of the tree of life, I picked the worst thing ever. And the universe said, Enjoy that endeavor. So, my sweet Kesala, he picked probably the worst thing ever, but it is an endeavor that he won't enjoy, but he will learn from, and you would never have taught him. And you don't deserve to be tortured for the rest of your life with bad karma and poverty and sickness and disease. And I mean that, meaning empath diseases that we generate because we are giving too much. Those autoimmune diseases, I have videos up here about it. It's a thing. And so my angels were like, your stomach is supposed to heal. The surgeries that have happened on my stomach since I left that narcissist, it's been amazing. I didn't even know I was so sick. I was on the brink of death, for so many times and in different ways. But it was not just because of her, it was because of all the narcissists that I had ever dealt with for days and days and days. It causes sickness when we're trying to clean their energy like some dialysis machine. F her. She wanted to be extra. She wanted death. That's what she manifested. Literally, she manifested a partner that is representative of death in the zodiac, in the the zodiac, but also in tarot, the scorpionic card of death, rebirth, and transformation. I transformed. She had many, many deaths, I would imagine. And that's unfortunate, but she literally manifested it. Your person manifested something too, and that was not supposed to be a fate that befell you. So that's why he chose what he chose, but it wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was because your angels have something so much better, and they will bring it in just as soon as you're finished doing your healing. All right. I love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.